$40 billion plus annually. That is the cost that streaming has had on the Hollywood industry complex. No more DVDs, no more Blu-rays, no more VHS. It's just writers, actors, corporations, studios fighting amongst each other because the money is gone, and streaming has turned out to not be the place where money can be chased. And that is why, folks, that we believe this Hollywood strike continues on, because the goodwill well has done run dry when it comes to money falling from on high. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are, folks. What a joy it is that you have elected to join us. And we have quite the panel today to talk about the cost of streaming, that being Culture Casino and Jonas J. Campbell. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show.
So good to be here.
Yeah, thank you. This will be fun.
Well, it is. It's fun for us. It's not fun for those who made this kind of a wager when it comes to the cost that they were willing to put into moving the entire entertainment industry into streaming. And boy, the ramifications are intense and insane. Folks, as we dive into this kind of content, if you like it, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Our journey today begins over on a little website called The Digital Bits. And we've had to go all the way back to 2019 to pull up some information. But boy, I think this is really going to hit home just what a situation the entire industry, that being entertainment, is in right now, at least Hollywood. And I think it's going to shine some sunlight on why we are in the kind of Hollywood strike that we're in. Take a look at this. Now, we're trying to get back to a date that is almost a decade away, and we've got that information right here. Here's what we need. In this paragraph, it says, first up is a report from the Motion Picture Association of America. Heard of them lately, huh? That reveals a shocking 50% decline in global physical media sales over the last 5 years. Now, just imagine what that's going to be today, because remember, this article is old, but it has old info that we need. The drop is in dollar amount from $25.2 billion in 2014 to just $13 billion in 2018. But the number that we need, folks, is this $25.2 billion in 2014. So credit goes to Bill Hunt, who is the original author of this article.
Bill
25.
Hunt. Awesome resource there, Bill Hunt, by the way. Just have to say that.
Absolutely. But now let's go to, what's really going on today. This out of Forbes by Brad Adgate. Why Disney is cutting back on DVDs after Guardians of the Galaxy. And, well, we're not here to find out about Guardians of the Galaxy. We're not here to find out why Disney is cutting back. We're here to find out what's the number today. And the closest we can get is 2022, because that year has concluded. 2023, not yet finished. However, here's what it says. The Digital Entertainment Group reports in 2022, DVD and Blu-ray sales in the U.S. were an estimated $1.58 billion, a decline of nearly 20% from $1.97 billion in 2021. In addition, the disc rentals had declined from $602 million in 2021 to $502 million. Now, we are comparing global to domestic. However, if we extrapolate this out and say that even if, let's say, the worldwide physical media is 4 times the U.S., right? You still only arrive at something like a maximum of $6 billion. It's somewhere around there. So we have dropped from just a few years ago, $25 billion essentially, to now, at best, $6 billion. If you really want to push it, you could say 7. In other words, we have decimated physical media sales, completely wiped it out. So I want to go to you guys real quick, because the whole gamble that was made back, 5, 6, 7 years ago was that streaming was the future. And the industry was willing to sacrifice this amazing DVD, Blu-ray, VHS, whatever you want to call it. We'll go Betamax, who cares? But whatever you want to call this physical media, system, this was tremendous for the industry, because not only did it generate this sort of revenue, but it was essentially free revenue. You put the movie out in the box office gave you box office money. Wonderful. Then it left the box office. Then you put the exact same thing you just made money off of onto physical media, and you made more money off of it. It was wonderful. And it made billions, $20+ billion of money, just free money. And now we live in a world where streaming loses money nonstop. Jonas, you had a thought?
Well, there's three things I'd like to bring up here. First of all, is the massive profits that they've left on the table here. The second is licensing to cable channels that they've now murdered that by saying everything is going to streaming. And three, the fact that they are paying money to lose money by putting all of this on streaming and spending billions of dollars every quarter on streaming.
You're 100% right. In fact, you even used the right word, murdered. They murdered 5 different revenue streams, right? Because they not only murdered the physical media that we're talking about, but they murdered digital distribution deals that they had, the premium cable distribution systems that they had, it seems like every 6-month revenue they were getting from services like Netflix and other similar services that were distributing them digitally. They essentially eliminated the opportunity to release it multiple times with various types of special features and things like that, which they don't even spend money on anymore. And I mean, they literally could have redistributed the same material 5, 6, 7 times potentially. Disney's been doing it for decades. I mean, we don't have to go that far back to remember the vault system, right? Where there was only a limited number of Snow Whites, and then they released the 60th anniversary of Snow White and the 70th anniversary of Snow White, and including all these special features and getting people to buy another copy of all this material. So it's just the fact that they've done what they've done, they literally have murdered it. You're right, Jonas, 100%.
I could go through and just name all the different series of DVD and Blu-ray releases that they've done. Walt Disney Signature Release, Diamond Edition, Platinum Edition, Black Label, Black Diamond, which is not an official label, but that goes back to the VHS days.
You know, I'm looking at right now at a chart that walks us through, and I don't have the ability to present it right now, but this chart walks through the decline that the studios saw with physical media before they all decided to follow Netflix and pull the plug on this industry. And they were looking at like 0.2% decline in 2012 and, 0.5% decline in 2013. And that was enough for them to decide to decimate this entire industry. The free flow of money for this was just insane, as you all were talking about. And what I'm trying to figure out now is, so you've got all these entertainment companies who they're fully in on streaming. Streaming is losing them money. So we've went from a position where the industry is making tens of billions of free dollars, essentially, right? It costs you the amount of money it takes to reformat it and to put it on that physical media, and that's it. And otherwise, it's just free. Now we're in a paradigm where they are losing, and in the case of Disney Plus, they're losing. I think the last quarter was $750 million in a single quarter. They've had many quarters where they've lost $1 billion on streaming. So to do this full reversal, I think this indicates why in this Hollywood strike, the studios, the corporations are unable, or at least they're unwilling to compromise in the way that the writers and the actors want. I think it's because the corporations are currently over a barrel. They are not in a financial position to make too many, what would you say, conciliatory actions with the writers and actors, because they don't have the margin anymore. Like, the margin is negative. Culture, do you think that we're in an impasse situation where the corporations simply cannot? Like, I know they're supposed to be the big bad boogeymen, but I think they're literally, their backs are broken. They cannot do things now. Whereas in the past, decades before, perhaps they could.
Well, they actually don't have the financial wherewithal to move further down this pathway. And again, all of this is in an effort to control or to wall off the garden of their material from everybody else, and that you can only get it from them. But that at the same time has actually created this circumstance where they aren't generating that revenue. You pointed it out, just how much money they've lost since 2014, correct? Like this ridiculous amount of billions of dollars. That's not insubstantial. And do you think they would love to have that money right now at a time when they're in the midst of strikes and things that are really just, tearing them apart? Of course they would. Of course, they would like to have that money. It would keep them afloat longer and give them a better position as far as leverage goes with the actors and the writers right now. But they don't have that anymore.
Well, let's talk about the opportunity cost here, okay? Because it's not just that they've lost essentially $20 billion of revenue. They went past that, right? Because now they're in negatives on streaming. So Jonas, just thinking through the amounts of money that Disney is losing and these other companies as they're investing, we may be talking about a $30 to $40 billion swing.
Yep. The last time I checked the numbers, $45 billion when you subtract the opportunity cost.
Oh my gosh!
And the and how much they've spent on Disney Plus.
Jonas, that's annual. Folks out there listening, listen to us. We're not talking about 45 billion is the total. That's the annual opportunity cost every 12 months.
Well, let's see here. Yeah. Wait, how much do they spend on Disney Plus per quarter? $1.5 billion, right? And then, of course, they're taking these $1.5 billion write-downs because none of that content is being watched, which is why you see, by the way, again, to shout out Bill Hunt over the Digital Bits. My goodness, I guess I'm going to do that probably one more time. Reading there, finding out about The Mandalorian and WandaVision and all of these other Disney shows that are now going to be coming out on premium physical media. They don't know what they're doing, and these are moves that are showing that they regret the decision to put all of this on Disney Plus and not give it a physical media release. Mature streaming services are very difficult to find right now. I think I need to look into the numbers here. Tubi, Roku, the ones that are fully free with ads, those are doing well right now, to the point where we're even seeing Disney shows show up there, which also damages Disney Plus in some way. I think Peacock is profitable now, and I'm trying to think I don't think Max is profitable, but I think Discovery Plus might be.
What a strange world we live in, where the major corporations
Hulu.
Probably miss cable badly.
Hulu, which is nice and over there and has a lot of ad supported stuff. They're making $12 per user right now, which is good, and they're going to destroy that and put it over on Disney Plus and kill it again.
Isn't that ridiculous?
That's, oh my gosh, you nailed it. You nailed it. You know what this reminds me of, Culture? This reminds me of back around 2005-ish, let's say. Back when World of Warcraft by Blizzard took off, right? It became this worldwide phenomenon. And all these other companies, these video game companies, realized that, oh my gosh, they're making $12 a month off of every single subscriber to this service. And so guess what that created? Well, it created this arms race where all of the video game companies, the big ones, they wanted their own massively multiplayer online RPG, and they all started doing this. The problem was they found out that it was so difficult to achieve that and to hold on to those numbers, and the risk was so great that eventually the MMO industry essentially parked. World of Warcraft, one of the only ones that survived to this day, but all the others essentially, just collapsed. There are a few exceptions. This seems to me to be parallel to what we're watching with Netflix. All the other companies looked and said, we want our Netflix, darn it. We want to be Netflix, darn it. And no, that didn't work out the way they intended. And I think there's a lot of people wishing they had not stuck their hand in the cookie jar now.
Sure. I wish I could still play City of Heroes.
Wow. Yeah, there were a few MMORPGs that were popular, Jonas. I'm not sure that was one of them, but the World of Warcraft, you're 100% right, and I think now it survives even today out of like just lack of awareness by people who have their credit cards tied to.
Probably, you're probably right. We're probably all paying for World of Warcraft and don't know it.
That's right. Yeah.
All the way for these decades later.
That reminds me, I need to go cancel my EverQuest 2 account.
Oh no. Oh no!
Yeah. Well, now you guys heard, I'm sure, that Netflix now is also going to be canceling their physical media mailing service that really started off Netflix, and I think at the end of September. So we've got about 1 month left, and apparently, if you don't return your movies, they're not going to charge you for that. They just let you keep them because they don't want them anymore. They've got so many in inventory. So I think it is the end of an era. Any final thoughts on the end of physical media before we move on to cues from you?
See, as I sit here, I've got a giant stack of physical media over to my left, and I have those amazing Star Trek Blu-rays, Star Trek: The Next Generation Blu-rays that a friend of the channel, Robert Meyer Burnett, worked on. I just sit here and think about the fact that this is a celebration of movie making and television making and the joy of the process. And that's really the thing that you kill when you go to streaming, and they've got nothing there. They've got the trailers, they've got the marketing materials, not the things that get people excited for the magic of film. I really feel like there is a great symbolic death in destroying physical media here.
I truly believe that if you don't own it physically, you don't own it. That's what I think.
Yeah, and there's arguments to be made that even at that you don't technically own it, or at least they're trying to make that the reality. Again, the death of physical media is terrible for those of us who collect it and those of us who actually like to go back and revisit older things that haven't been, shifted about or changed, which we're starting to see happen now because some of the messages in original film they're too hard for people to process now, or to work past, or to even hear about or see. That's incredibly frustrating. I mean, that kind of censorship, because that's what it is what we're trying to thwart by having our own copy of the physical media. And now we're at the societal whim of the people that are in control of the creative arts, and that's a real problem.
Guys, we're heading into autumn of 2023. I think it's time to finally, once and for all, answer the question that all of our audience is hoping we will. It's on par with the battles of Sega versus Nintendo. Big question, guys. Blockbuster or Hollywood Video? Which one was better?
In its heyday, Blockbuster, obviously, but Hollywood Video stuck around, and that Movie Pass thing. Oh, I loved going there and getting 3, and then going home and watching, and then returning those 3 and getting more the same day. Blockbuster.
Did Blockbuster let you demo video games too? I remember that Hollywood Video, they let people take home the Sega Dreamcast before it was even available to the public in North America.
I mean, Pokemon Snap and the Virtual Boy at Blockbuster, that was where it's at.
Oh, forgot about that.
I loved being able to rent games and things like that. But what's sad is I would say Blockbuster would have been the king at the time. But the problem is, as you pointed out, they folded up rather quickly. The 3 Blockbusters that surrounded me in the location we were living in at the time all closed up shop before Hollywood Video. So I still had Hollywood Video, so I was grateful they still existed. So yeah, but no, I think Blockbuster would have been king, and Blockbuster could have been and also ran with Netflix had they just paid attention.
But they went the way of Sears and failed to follow the times. Now it's kind of funny because perhaps the corporations got a little overzealous in trying to prevent themselves from being Searsed or Blockbustered, and they all jumped aboard, and the streaming thing is not turning out to be quite the king they thought it would be. But I tell you what is, cues from you. Let's get into these questions from our members. Folks, members of the channel who are part of Tier 2 Plus, we always answer the questions. We didn't get a chance to do this weekend, which is typically the time we do it, because I actually took the weekend off. First time I've done that all year, and so I needed 2 days just to revivify myself. Jonas, do you feel revivified yet?
I don't know about you. I still worked.
Revivification. We're going to make Jonas take a vacay sometime. All right, well, let's get in these cues from you. From Stuttering Guitarist. There was a distinctly dystopian era in Disney films. The Black Hole, a rather dark Lord of the Rings, Black Cauldron, and a few others. It seemed to be shattered by The Little Mermaid and the string of musical hits that followed. Do you see a way to get back to fun, or are we too deep down the rabbit hole and competitors will be the only ones to satisfy that? Well, gentlemen, my take on that would be that, failure begets the need to change, and perhaps Disney will, say, you know what, we've had enough of losing money. How about we try to make some? What do you guys think?
Black Cauldron is available on Disney Plus, of course, and one of the interesting things that you see when you look at Black Cauldron is there is I wouldn't be surprised if Peter Jackson and Andy Serkis took some influence in the Lord of the Rings films from there's a specific character that I can't remember the name of, but he's very Gollum-like. It's an interesting thing to watch historically speaking, but Black Cauldron, you can tell it's a rare brand deviation for Disney. So I don't know. I would love for them to take risks. Black Hole and Black Cauldron didn't make them too much money though.
No, but Black Hole is, as far as I'm concerned, I call it classic. But I understand the direction of the question. I think that there is the wherewithal within the industry as a whole to bring back the joyful musicals, you know, and things like that. I don't think within Disney any of that exists any longer because of their dystopian efforts to, I guess, undermine their own value, their own brand, and their own audience.
Well, what do you think about this, guys? The idea that perhaps Disney has fallen prey to the idea that coastal elites who live in mansions along the shoreline are telling all of the youth of the world that the oceans are going to rise and kill them all, while they do so, tweeting that from their estates along the bay. I kind of think that has permeated now into the younger generation, where they have a dystopian view of the future, and now that generation is writing for Disney, and they have no optimism about where we might go as a species.
I think you're probably right. It's been a long time since they've had someone working class writing songs for them. I think the funny thing about musicals is musicals generally have to have some hopefulness to them. The I want genre of songs generally needs to have hopefulness. I think Disney right now, and Little Mermaid is actually a great example of Alan Menken and Howard Ashman. And right now, half of that is making musical for Apple. So it'll be interesting to see if the Disney magic still works when it doesn't have the Disney label on it. You do need that hope in children's stuff, especially. You do need that hope, because you don't want kids going in thinking that they need to be ashamed of the world that they live in or feeling bad about themselves. That spirit of adventure in Star Wars and even Little Mermaid, it's all about going into a different place and seeing things with hope. You can't say that the world is horrible. You have to say that the world is big and wide and has. You go in and try to fill out the rest of the map and maybe spend your whole life doing it. I don't think the idea that the sea levels are rising really connects with the little kids.
Well, I'm taking notes right now for Disney. Jonas says funerary musicals don't connect with children. Okay, I'm sending that to Bob Iger right now.
Oh, well, I mean, don't all the kids just love to sing Beware the Frozen Heart?
Well, let's go to someone who does not have a frozen heart at all, that being Shrebels. In a hypothetical scenario, would Disney Plus be completely destroyed if the rights holders for Bluey were to be pulled from Disney Company? Guys, what kind of catastrophe would we see if Bluey left Disney Plus?
Oof. Wow.
Well, that would put the Korean show that just popped up. That would make it the number one show, perhaps, on Disney Plus.
Moving? Is that only Disney Plus in the international segment as well? Isn't it Hulu in the United States and in Disney Plus everywhere else? Is that the one we're talking about?
Oh, you're talking about the Korean show. That I'm
Yes.
not sure about. I'm not 100% sure how that's working internationally versus domestic. But you could be right there. And honestly, if it's on Hulu domestically and not on Disney Plus, that would be the best case scenario for Disney, because it's making a lot more money for them there than it is on Disney.
Here's two things I'm going to point out to anybody who's watching this and loves Bluey. Bluey is available on physical media. Disney does not own the rights to that, and it's their way into the market here. You can pick up seasons 1 and 2 of Bluey on DVD right now on Amazon, Target, Best Buy. They've got it. Just go. It's the full versions, not the Disney Junior edits.
Bingo.
Do you know what this highlights to me, though? Just the fascination with Bluey and the fact that it's the most successful show on Disney Plus, is that they really didn't do what they said they were going to do from the very beginning. This Disney Plus is a streaming service of broken promises from the very first time it was presented by Bob Iger. And as he presented the opportunity for everybody to see everything that Disney had to offer from any point in its history on their streaming service, many people signed up in advance prior to the launch of this service to begin with. And they made it through the first 3 years when they offered a very wonderful deal to people who paid approximately $4 a month for 3 years. That was the initial offering, if I'm not mistaken. And they never got what they were promised, going all the way back to I guess that would have been the Expo at the time. It might have been a Destination D event. No, it was definitely the Expo where Bob introduced it. And that, I think, kind of sealed its fate, because Bob's never delivered on anything that he said was going to happen with streaming, and the value of it isn't there. Because as we were just mentioning, if you don't own something on physical media, your only option would be to go to this digital platform to get an opportunity to see it again. Well, you don't see The Black Hole. You don't see Something Wicked This Way Comes. You don't see any of these things that are from that wonderful Disney catalog on that service. So if they lose somebody else's property that is the most valuable thing that they have, well, they really don't have a lot to offer. And their originals have not been up to snuff. So the promise of Disney Plus has never been fulfilled, and there's no future for it to be fulfilled.
Yeah, just to add to the add to the detriment here to the Disney company. I know we sound like black pills on the Disney company.
No.
Disney Plus is best sold as a babysitter service, to put it cynically but succinctly. And if Disney Junior content, their premium label preschool content, is in doubt, according to most traditional conservative families, that leaves Bluey. And if Bluey is not on the service, then all that's left is that now tainted Disney Junior brand name.
Ooh. Well, I really think that Disney should do everything in their power to keep Bluey, because they don't seem to have much else. And I think you're exactly right, Jonas. What a horrible, horrible bet that they made with the Florida situation, because the cost and the damage that they could do if they played that poorly was immense. And they played it poorly. So, worst of both cases there. But Coach O'Dragon says, before Ahsoka debuts, someone had mentioned on a channel via Super Chat that Ahsoka would begin the healing for the Star Wars fan base. Despite only 2 episodes in, based on what I'm seeing from reviews, our sphere doesn't seem to like Ahsoka. Whatever may come in the next episodes, and Disney may be about to gaslight this, do you think they'll antagonize the audience once more, along with perhaps more antagonists, Disney pixie dusters, etc., essentially asking guys, do we think that this is going to go back into dividing the fans once more? What do you guys think? Do you think Ahsoka is going to divide? I kind of think that everybody's already in their positions already.
Yeah, because I think 1 divided by 1 is still 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my big review of Ahsoka is that it probably would be a lot better if it was animated. It's not very smart to me. I'm not saying I'm smart. I'm just saying that there's not a lot of new ground being broken here. They seem to be doing an Arthurian legend thing. Well, the original legends are actually great and engaging, whereas this is not great and engaging. It's very predictable. The special effects are great. Ray Stevenson looks fantastic. I like Rosario Dawson, but I'm bored by Ahsoka Tano, played by Rosario Dawson. I just don't have a lot of hope for it. I'm going to keep watching for now, but it wouldn't take much for me to say I'm just not even going to check in with this in order to see if it's getting any better.
Isn't that funny? Because I would say that is the key difference between animation and live action, is you have to have a lot of depth to a live action character, whereas you can be very superficial with a character in an animated program, right? Because that's a different kind of a presentation media. And I think that despite the fact that Rosario Dawson's a very talented actress, I think she's incapable of adding any more than is what is on the page to this Ahsoka Tano character. And it really does show the limitations of a mind like Dave Filoni, because again, this is his love child, for lack of better words.
I think it would be better if it wasn't aliens, because they'd be able to emote more freely, which is really saying something for Star Wars.
Yeah, and Star Wars has not had enough aliens, so that's what a conundrum. I would say, guys, here's my take, and I don't think I've expressed this before. Maybe it'll go over well with those of you listening, but I actually am hopeful for Ahsoka, and I'm hopeful for a strange reason. I want this show to do well in the end because there needs to be something to build upon in the post Kathleen Kennedy era. If there's nothing, then I don't know where to go with it. Once Lucasfilm, perhaps, who knows how long it'll take to clean the house. If there's nothing, then I don't know what you do with Star Wars. So we've got to have something that has some kind of glimmer of hope that you could use as a starting point. If this fails, you can kiss goodbye all the anticipation for the Mandoverse movie, for Mandalorian season 4. All of that goes away if this sucks, because Ron is the backbone behind this.
Yeah, I actually don't wish for the Mandoverse film, bro.
Well, me neither at this point.
Yeah, I and again, and not to be, all sounding black-pilled. I'm not. I believe that they actually need true creatives in place, and not the people that are currently running these various studios. I think that's the limiting factor right now. It's the minds at the top, because they're tainting the minds at the bottom.
All right, well, let's hop into Cousin Dwight says, I'm an unashamed old movie nut. It seems like a lot in Hollywood today are making passion projects, movies for themselves and their friends, and not for general audiences. I remember reading that old actors and directors would have contracts requiring them to make a few commercially driven movies to fund a portion of the movie a studio would commit to a passion project. Is that historically accurate? And if so, when did that stop being a standard practice? Is it time to return to that model? The general audience movies may be safe money, and I'm sure some of those passion projects turned out to be great risk-taking movies. Guys, any insight into that one?
This is a great example of Channing Tatum. I don't know what movies he wanted to be in, but he did not want to be in the G.I. Joe movies. And he's very open about his hatred of the G.I. Joe movies now, where he played Duke. So to hear an actor openly talk about how much he did not want to be in a film, I think speaks to the fact that, yeah, those still exist. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You can't say unless the director or actor says, yes, it was these 3 pictures, this flop, this passion project that I loved, and then this popcorn film. Yeah, that still happens, I'm sure.
It does to a certain extent, but there's less of it. I mean, the one for you, one for me, that kind of it made a resurgence in the 80s when Hollywood went back to, the entertainment formula, coming out of a very dystopian period of time in this country, which, hey, we're in one of those right now. The one for you, one for me, I think kind of got the resurgence there. There are still actors that have leeway. The best example for that would be Clint Eastwood. He basically walks into the studio, says, I need $85 million to make a film. And they give it to him because he makes great films. And you're not going to get that many people that are going to get that kind of thing anymore in Hollywood. There's not a lot of trust there. A lot of the studios don't have faith in their talent anymore because, well, I mean, what talent is there to have faith in?
Exactly. And ideally, I don't think there are too many people out there who make a passion project with the hopes that it will only please a few. I think most people still want audiences to love their stuff, even if it is out there in the niche category.
Right. Bradley Cooper is probably not hoping to make $1 billion on this Bernstein picture that he's doing.
Right. Rob Weisenhunt, though, has one of my favorite questions. Not to say that the others are not great, but this one gave me a little mini epiphany here. Rob says, isn't it amazing how little vitriol there is in the Star Wars fandom and the general conversation around Ahsoka when someone from Disney doesn't come out of the gate attacking us? Is the fans are trash narrative and attack the fan strategy diminishing? Guys, this made me realize I have to go back a ways to find a show where Star Wars was not attacking its own fans. This is the first one in a while. Is that remarkable, do you think?
Well, we have to remember that with Obi-Wan Kenobi, it was directly the Star Wars account that was attacking fans and calling them unkind names over Reva, even though her performance wasn't there. And by the way, there was, on some fractional level, at least probably something to that. Somebody probably out there did say something unkind and completely inappropriate to the actress who played Reva. But at the same time, people were so used to that broad brush being used to say anyone who doesn't like this is therefore that thing. I think they might have learned their lesson that no, you cannot attack all fans, especially when most fans are saying, yes, we all like Rosario Dawson.
Well, in Mandalorian season 3, The attacks came from the criticism of the Lizzo episode. In Andor, that before that even came out, that was set up as a political hit job against one political party in the United States. So culture, kind of weird, isn't it, that there's silence in terms of attacking fans?
Well, actually, I'm going to throw the dour cloud of darkness on this again.
No!
Dude.
Yeah, it actually speaks more towards the lack of relevance Star Wars has now.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a zinger.
Yeah, it's true because again, I mean, I'm not watching Ahsoka. I have had a few peeks at it, but I'm not interested in this show. And I think they've walked away so much from that 50-year-old crowd that, brought them generations after them and a level of joy themselves. They again, you can't divide an audience. So you can only divide them so many times. You can't divide one by one anymore because there isn't anybody else left. And you have such a limited number of people watching this. You've watched the apex of the people watching these shows, and you now are seeing the decay. You're seeing the decline into nothingness. And that's this is maybe something that they're truly focused on, the fact that if we don't say anything, maybe this will get better. Well, it's not going to. You have to make good things that people are interested in. This is not a show that's trending. It's not a show that's going to peak on the streaming chart. It's not going to displace Suits. It's not going to displace a lot of things. It's more quote unquote content that is hollow. It doesn't advance any storylines, and it doesn't give you any context in what's next to come.
There is no way that an 8-episode max sci-fi series can beat out a 10-season procedural where it's getting ad revenue all the way down. Traditional TV murders premium sci-fi almost every day of the week.
Yeah. I agree with you. Again, you had the exception, right? The first season of Mandalorian, perhaps the second season, and then Disney actually, at that point, I believe, really did murder Star Wars. They'd already separated a lot of the audience from their passion and love with the sequel trilogy, especially after the second film. And again, this is the most appropriate word. Thank you for it, Jonas. They murdered their audience. They didn't just divide them. They cut 60% of their audience with a set of films, and then they're just bleeding out right now during these terrible content streaming programs. I haven't seen anything good, and it's not just obviously Star Wars, but I haven't seen anything good coming out of Disney Plus for 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, when did they stop doing Imagineering Story and their ILM documentaries are really good. When Disney talks about itself, and again, going back to that physical media thing, where they actually talk about the filmmaking process and the joy of movies. Prop culture is fantastic. And now, unless you happen to have a copy of it somewhere, I think that one is gone the way of the dodo. And it was the best thing on Disney Plus after that initial burst.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah. I mean, and again, they dove into the history. They told an honest accounting. Everybody in the company was a hero, including Walt. And now, as I think we've predicted for some time, they are going to try to take out Walt. So.
Depending on where you are in the country, you may call these garage sales or yard sales. Yes. I can only surmise that Disney has also killed those, because once DVDs and Blu-rays are no longer out there, that's half of the garage sale and yard sale market. So not going to be as much fun picking through stuff if there's nothing to find in video format.
Yeah, estate sales will be your last gasp and grasp at physical media, I'm afraid.
That's a good point. All right, Rod Thunderheart says, how much longer can Disney continue to burn money? I said before, I doubt Apple wants to get into the theme park business. They're a telecommunications and technology business, not a theme park ride. Now another lawsuit because of KK. I don't think Disney has more than 2 years at best left, yet we keep hearing all of their grand plans. What's up with that? Ron, I'm here to tell you, I don't think Disney is going under completely, and I don't think that Apple is going to buy Disney. It'd be very complicated, very convoluted. But gentlemen, your thoughts on that?
No, I don't think they're going bankrupt. And there seems to be a strange accusation going around that saying we're saying the Disney company is going bankrupt. No, I think you'd struggle to actually find that in any of our content. The stock price situation
we'll never say that.
Is means another company buying Disney is not likely in its current form. It would have to be broken up, and they're actually making moves that would facilitate that. But I think the idea they're probably going to sell off wings of the company that they don't see as profitable before they would be bought out by anyone else. But as Bob Iger likes to say, everything is on the table.
And everything's possible. It's just if it's 1% or less, we don't give it a lot of traction here.
And to add one little thing, the only thing that has value and profit in it is ESPN, and they're not seemingly wanting to part with that exactly. They want to partner so that they can continue to underwrite enormous rights contracts that are all coming due.
That's a great point.
I'll add one more here. Disney's movie and television business right now is the only purpose it serves is specifically serving Disney's parks business. And so selling off Disney's movie making business, they would have to get right back into it in order to serve the parks. It's the advertisements for the parks, which is failing right now because the content that is supposed to be advertising people to the parks is not working well. It's a cycle. It's a synergy cycle, and it all has to be working well. And that content side to drive people there is broken right now, and it affects the entire company, despite the fact that it's supposed to be, on a good day, 20% of the entire revenue of the Walt Disney Company, not their bread and butter.
Watch the parks, folks. Watch the parks. I'm working on getting an interview with Jay Drunk 3PO to talk about some issues that he's found out about the park. We'll see how that goes. All right, and then we've got our final cue from you. This one from Jenny Tyler. Where is KK, Kathleen Kennedy? What is going on with her? She has been off the grid for quite a while for someone who needs to be the center of everything. The simple answer to that is put out a video this morning, if you're watching this video at the time of release, talking about potential windows for Kathleen Kennedy. Now, we're hearing things are heating. I have never reported that Kathleen Kennedy would be fired, still haven't, but I have reported that Kathleen Kennedy would be exiting the Disney company or Lucasfilm up until about 3 months ago. And we began to hear some things that were quite different. And we're tracking that. The big deal, though, here, folks, is we would love to tell you exactly when Kathleen Kennedy is going to announce her retirement or when she will leave. That is exceedingly difficult the longer the Hollywood strike goes on, for a number of reasons. Go check out the video from August 28th, the AM video about Kathleen Kennedy's retirement. We go into depth about that, but the Hollywood strike is going to play a major part in this. Guys, do you think it's just the Hollywood strike that has silenced KK, or is there something else up with Disney?
Culture. I think they're in the middle of layoffs.
Culture's like, listen, I have watched this dead horse be beaten so many times. I just can't pummel the corpse of the horse anymore.
Hey, look, I mean, she's going to be gone when she's gone. Reporting otherwise is not helpful. Reporting rumors, I think, is this point is not great. The only
what if she's eternal, Culture? What if she's eternal? She'll never leave.
I think she may never leave. But I know this that her contract does get regularly renegotiated, and I believe that she's not going to be able to weasel into one of these sweetheart deals that Bob Iger got, where her contract ends as far as being in charge of things, but she still is on in a consultancy capacity, because there is no upside to do that for the Disney company. I have a
recurring nightmare, Culture, that Kathleen Kennedy does leave, but then, like Toby from The Office, she comes back 8 months later.
Oh no!
The entire world begins screaming.
Yeah. Instead of 1,000 voices crying out in pain and then being silenced, it'll be 1,000 voices crying out in pain and
right.
never
silenced.
Yeah, exactly.
Just unending.
The Star Wars fandom increasingly is a large number of people going, really?
Yes.
Really? Well, gentlemen, I hope this has been a fun experience for everybody involved, including our wonderful audience out there. Let's go around real quick. We haven't done this in a bit, but Culture, where can people find you on this great, big, beautiful web out there?
Oh, yeah. I would say thank you for checking out my YouTube, Rumble, and Odyssey channels at Culture Casino. Very hard to find, I know. And you can find me also on Minds and Getter, and of course X now, I think we're calling it. So yeah, you can find me on all those places. And I have to tell you, I'm very impressed with what's happening video-wise on X. I had several hundred, if not thousands, of views of one of my live streams recently on Twitter, which I didn't think was possible. So,
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there you go.
Jonas?
You can find me here on the WDW Pro channel because I'm the co-producer. Oh, wait, I'm the producer. I'm a co-host of
You're the
Pro
producer
show.
extraordinaire, Jonas.
Oh, all right. I'll have to update the business cards if anybody still uses those. Thursdays, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can find us here. And we're going to be talking about the strike. Most definitely, there is a lot that we need to cover there. And I am chomping at the bit to open it up for audience questions because there is so much going on there. I also have a channel where I go over all the interesting ideology that these companies put into children's content. You can find it over on the Jonas J. Campbell YouTube page. The series is called Everything Woke. Or you can find me on Twitter, where I probably spend too much time.
Jonas, I don't think you're very busy, are you?
Oh my. Do you want me to start talking about the things that I'm doing in between now and the pro show?
Well, I was thinking we should start another YouTube channel. Who knows, right?
Oh, yes. Well, of course, I am the host of the upcoming That Park Place. You can subscribe now and be one of the first people to experience the new segment, the new arm of what we're doing here. If you weren't informed enough, we can bring you up to speed on all of the small stories that maybe don't warrant a 10 to 25 minute discussion or 45-minute discussion. But you can be the one who knows all the little things that fill in the cracks, give you all those details of what is going on in the industry. And I think we're going to have a good time. We've got some co-hosts lined up that I think you will all find very engaging. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast.
And of course, our goal is to create a network of great content creators out there, all coming together to relay entertainment information and to raise this tide with all going up together. So Culture, Jonas, myself, and many more, and we are excited to make that happen coming up soon. Folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms, it's the notification bell. The conversation here has come to a close, and my gosh, finally a long format video. We haven't done these a little bit outside of the pro show. So if you enjoyed it, drop a comment down below. If you didn't, drop a comment down below because we love your feedback. We want to hear it one way or the other. We appreciate what's on your mind. And folks, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Clickbait, fraud, drama queen. Ugh. I wish there was a channel that was 5 to 6 minute news reads without the drama, frauds, and clickbait that could accurately let me know the current news, providing my crucial context utilizing all the different That Park Place contributors and creators.
Well, stupid. There is. It's the That Park Place YouTube channel, which will be going live real soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you can really stick it to the algorithms.
You're joking.
Nope.